Back with our second episode of 2026. Hello, everybody, and yeah, let's do it.
Bang, bang, let's go, baby.
So we're filming this.
What day is today? Saturday,
January.
I don't even know the day. I just know it's Niner game day. That's what I know.
So he's very excited because his team plays today against the Seattle Seahawks. We're gonna get to that.
When do you guys play?
We play tomorrow at 4:30 Mountain Time. So it's against the Bears. So we're very excited here, but. You know, we're gonna talk about that later. Let's talk about real estate. Let's talk about what we do.
What'd you do this week? Did you have a good week this week?
Yeah. So this week I stayed very productive. Actually, I did a few masterminds which we both attended.
Yeah. What'd you think of that mastermind? Let me hear your thoughts on it. You had to leave a little bit early.
I did. But shout out to Sarah Brewer, Idaho Real Estate Life
Group. Yeah.
I'm sorry if I butchered that, but no, I'm glad she put that together and invited us because the speakers that they had gave me a lot of great ideas that actually have already been thinking about, but just hearing other people find success in their strategies gave me validation to okay, let's implement these full go. I really like the one where you break up your time into what lag goals are and versus, what will actually get you there. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to implement that into my life. But what do you think about?
Yeah, that was Coach Glenn Swain doing the lag measures versus lead measures.
Yes.
And understanding if you put 10 million as your end of year goal, great. How are you going to measure that? But what activities do you have to do to actually accomplish those goals, and how are you tracking those things? So, those mastermind sessions, I think they're always great. It's nothing groundbreaking, the material that we're talking about.
No.
What I like about those mastermind sessions is we got a group of like-minded individuals together, and we're just brainstorming ideas. We're all in the same industry. We're all facing the same challenges, and we all have the same fears and anxieties that we all kind of have, you know what I mean? So it's nice to get in a room like that where you're talking about the same things and just understand that the problems that guy's having are the same problems that you're feeling on a week in and week out basis, you know what I mean? So I always enjoy just getting together, and that was a great event, I thought.
Yeah, and then just to finish that topic off, I just really like meeting new agents, and there was a lot of faces that I've seen on social media that I finally met in person, what was his lender? Anyways,
Forrest?
Yeah, Forrest. I got to meet Forrest. I got to meet
cool.
several other people in the industry that I've just seen on social media and then I'm always supporting, but it's nice to put a face in person. But yeah, anyways, so let's talk about this article that actually was recently published on January 15th. And the article was titled 10 Cities Where Jobs Pay, Housing is Finally Catching Up and Lining Up for Millennials. So that brings up the topic of affordability. Is it truly lining up where Boise's finally getting affordable for that age group? What are you seeing? And just let us know.
I think it's a mixed bag. I do think home affordability is still a real challenge.
Yeah.
Home prices have appreciated at a rate that haven't necessarily kept up with the average wages that are being paid here. So there is certainly still some challenges, especially folks that have a single income household. I think really the ones that are successful and are able to put themselves in positions, they do have a 2-income household. Now, that being said, there are several programs in our area. One, the down payment assistance through Idaho Housing, that I think is one of the best state-run programs to allow you to overcome that hurdle of being able to save up for your down payment. And then 2, we've got great builders in our market, CBH, Hayden, some of these guys who are offering really big seller credits that are alleviating the need to, again, if we use down payment assistance through Idaho Housing and then we have a seller credit from the builder on the backside, we're able to now cover closing costs, be able to buy the rate down, make affordability just that much better, and then you're able to use the down payment assistance to cover your down payment. So yes, home affordability is still a challenge. Don't get me wrong. There's going to be a lot of folks that listen to this and say, man, I'm making $45,000, $50,000, and I'm still really struggling to be able to afford a $2,000 mortgage payment or whatever that might be, or $2,500 mortgage payment. So don't get me wrong, home affordability is still a challenge, but there are really good programs in the state of Idaho and really good builders right now that are providing a little bit of relief for borrowers. What are you seeing on your side?
And you brought up the point of builders, and there's a lot of people that watch this and are going to be like, but I don't want to work with a builder. I want a home that is resale and that maybe isn't in a brand new neighborhood. And so
Well, hold on.
Listen to me. Listen to me for a second. And that's where sometimes it can be a challenge to find those priced homes for those people that maybe are priced out right now. And so they're going to look at this and say, well, that's the ideal home. It's not for me right now. And so how can we educate people to get to that point, right? Let's put a plan in place, talk to somebody, talk to a lender, talk to a real estate agent. Like, I would be happy to just send you reports of what's going on in the market, what is happening around your area as far as listings, so you can get an idea of what's truly out there. And this year, since we talked about this last week, our outlook is there's going to be more inventory this year, and it's growing every year. And so there might be some houses that are in your price range. So don't lose hope, because there's going to be something for everybody. I really do believe that.
Yeah, I think part of the challenge has been over the last couple of years is that during the refi boom of COVID, all the existing homeowners were able to refinance their loans into 3% and lower rates.
Yeah.
So they had very little motivation to list their home and buy a new home.
Right.
Because if they were going to do that, now they're buying with a 7% rate. Now that rates are near 6s and creeping into the 5s, homeowners are a lot more likely now to start thinking, okay, now if they're a move-up buyer, if their family's growing, if they are moving from out of town, things like that, they're now being a little bit more realistic that rates aren't going to be in 3% again. And so, but what it's creating is a little bit more inventory back on the market.
100%.
So the existing home construction, everybody was tied into their loans and nobody wanted to list their homes. I think that's finally getting alleviated just a little bit. And we're starting to see a little bit more existing construction on the market. And although you can get these big seller credits with new builds, don't put it past your agent being able to negotiate a good seller credit from the seller on the other side and still be able to do the same things, cover your closing costs and buy down that rate, because it's all a negotiation. And if you get a good realtor on your side who's able to help you negotiate that contract, it's very likely that you're still going to end up with a decent seller credit, whether you're in a new build or existing construction.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I've helped several clients, not new construction, get really good seller credits where they were able to buy down their rate. They were able to pay most of their closing costs, so they didn't have to bring as much to closing. And so, yes, 100%. And sellers are still expecting to be able to do that. And so if you negotiate as best you can on behalf of your clients, oh my gosh, underrated thing that people aren't thinking about. Yes, the new builders are offering these really lavish incentives, but sellers are still doing that too. Not quite to the level, but they're still willing to do it. So
yeah, you might not get 30,000, but you'll get 10,000 or 15,000.
10, 5, 8. Yep. Sometimes I've heard crazy numbers before. So it just kind of depends on where you land, but it's definitely there. But yeah.
And our market is still demanding that, I think. I think we're still in an environment where buyers have the leverage to negotiate a seller credit. We still do.
100%.
I think 9 deals out of 10, and don't quote me on those numbers, but 9 deals out of 10 that are coming across my desk have a seller credit.
Yeah.
It's very rare that I get a deal with 0 seller credit.
100%. But yeah, I think that's a great start and a great jumping off point to the next topic. So last week we talked about what we expect as far as the real estate market. And one of the things we touched on was interest rates will start to alleviate. Tell us what happened last week, because there's some big news that happened. So explain a little bit about what happened there.
Yeah, so we saw rates hit a 3-year low. We saw the average 30-year mortgage drop to 5.99.
That's wild.
You saw it all over social media. All the agents posting it. Lowest rates lowest rates in the last 3 years. The 30-year mortgage finally came below 6, and I think that's really going to get people excited once we start seeing that 5 in front. And I know it's very minimal difference, 6.07 versus 5.99, but mentally, for a buyer, all of a sudden we're in the 5s. That changes things. But what happened was Donald Trump ordered the federal government to buy $200 billion of mortgage-backed securities.
Yeah.
So even though the 10-year Treasury yield stayed kind of elevated relative to the lows that we had, we were still at like 415, 416 all week.
Okay.
But because of the pressure of buying $200 billion of mortgage-backed securities, the actual average mortgage rates were able to drop. Now they've rebounded just slightly. We're back in the really low sixes. So I'd like to see that 5 handle come back. But I mean, we're getting close, man. We're getting really close to seeing that happen and seeing it stick for the rest of the year.
Yeah, and then, back to the first topic, let's explain to, maybe a millennial that is feeling priced out, how big of a difference does it make if you're getting an interest rate, let's say at 6.3 compared to 5.99? Like, is there a decent decrease in monthly payment, or like what's it going to truly do for them? Like, if I'm thinking, okay, what will it actually do to reach out to you now at 5.99?
See, that's the thing that you want to make sure you're educating your clients on.
Let's educate them on.
Because the true difference between a 6.25 and a 5.99 on a $350,000 house is maybe $50 on your monthly payment. Now, don't get me wrong. I know $50 for a lot of people's monthly budget can be a lot, but if your true barrier to entry is a difference of $50, maybe we're not quite ready for where you need to be. There are more important factors that go into your monthly payment on your total monthly payment for your home than interest rates. And so I do want to let everybody know that yes, interest rates are coming down and we're in a good spot for people to buy, but also rate is not the only thing that matters in your monthly payment. There's a lot of things that go into it besides, so you got your principal and interest, you got your homeowner's insurance, you got your property taxes, you've got mortgage insurance. There's a lot of things that go into that. So really what I like to do with my clients is when we sit down and talk and we're putting down a 6-month plan, a 9-month plan, a 12-month plan, whatever that might be, we talk about what is your ideal monthly payment, not just what you can afford, because there's a difference between, okay, you can afford a $450,000 house and that equates to a $2,700 payment. But if you tell me, you know what, look, I really need a $2,300 payment, great, let's work backwards to hit that payment. Let's not get you qualified for your max pre-approval and be shopping outside of your monthly budget. Let's get you pre-approved for your max monthly budget or for your max monthly payment, sure, but let's shop within your ideal payment
within your
range.
means. I think you said 2 key words right there. You said plan and education. Biggest thing that we all preach, I think we both do this really well with our clients, is we educate and we put a great plan in place. That way there's no disappointment, there's transparency in what we can actually do, and then it actually creates a smooth transaction from that. Because if you're transparent in your communication, you educate the client and guide them through what their situation truly is, and if you have a good partnership like this, the transaction will always go smoothly because there's expectation and there's no surprises. You know what I mean? Because I've heard stories where, you know, it's based on what they can maximum afford, and it's just like, it gets messy because there's unrealistic expectations.
Yeah, they get themselves into a situation where now they're house poor. Yes, can you qualify for it on paper? Absolutely. But
that's not always the best decision.
Exactly. Right? Now you're using 55% of your monthly income or whatever it is to just cover your bills. And so we try to avoid those situations. Now, granted, there are situations where...
It's all case by case, right?
Yeah, it's all case by case, 100%. Man. There are some situations where people are definitely in need of a home, and we will do everything we can to get them qualified. And if their ratios are tight, hey, we put a plan in place so that long-term affordability, they can understand what their finances are, and they can understand how to make this payment a little bit more affordable in the rest of their lifestyle.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And just to wrap up this conversation, yes, interest rates are starting to ease. There's a lot of awesome news that Patrick just shared on why it's happening. So we just want to wrap it up with saying, look, if you feel like you're still stuck on the sidelines, reach out to us as professionals to, you know, maybe give you the launch point. But that's a great way to end that topic. But now let's kind of move on to something fun. So we've been noticing, we've been living here. Wow, there is so many national franchises coming to the Treasure Valley. In-N-Out, Raising Cane's just opened, and I just heard that Dunkin' Donuts is actively looking for commercial spaces to bring their company in. So how do you feel about that? Do you like those places? And do you think that it's causing more traffic than it's worth? Three questions right there.
Let me ask you this first.
Oh my God, you're Uno reversing me right now.
Did you ever drive all the way to Salt Lake City just to get an In-N-Out burger?
To be honest, never.
Never.
I didn't have In-N-Out till I was like 19 years old.
So I've been here my entire life, and I love In-N-Out. We used to take trips all the way to Salt Lake City. Just for In-N-Out? I mean, we would go and maybe stay for 2 days, but the whole point was we wanted to go eat In-N-Out. So we would go for the weekend, maybe have In-N-Out twice, and then come back. Well, sometimes we would even scoop up some In-N-Out and bring it back for the fam bam. So that. Wiener Schnitzel's maybe over there.
Yeah, they have that.
We've got Wiener Schnitzel's now too. In the last year, they put a couple of locations. They put one on 10 Mile. They put one in Nampa.
Yeah.
So there's a couple locations there. I would say it's a great thing for Boise.
Yeah.
Am I a fan? Absolutely. I love me some Raising Cane's. I love me some cane sauce.
Cane sauce is delicious.
In-N-Out, I love me a double animal style fries.
I like it with chopped chilies too. I know you could do that recently.
Wiener Schnitzel. I love me some chili cheese dogs. So I'm absolutely a fan of bringing in these franchises.
Yeah.
Does it create a little more traffic? Sure. In-N-Out, when they have their big grand opening.
Oh my gosh.
You're not going to catch, I love In-N-Out, but you're not going to catch me waiting in line for 10 hours trying to get my first In-N-Out burger. No way.
Raising Cane's also had a huge, like, long line for like a whole day. People camped out at Raising Cane's too.
Yeah, which I think is fun. It's a fun community event, but you're not going to catch me doing it. I'm a guy who, I still haven't been to Cane's, and I love Cane's.
I haven't either.
I haven't been yet. I'm waiting for the hype to die down a little bit.
Yeah.
Give me a month or two, and then you'll catch me over there. But yeah, I do. I think it's great. Yes. Do I think it brings in lots of traffic to these areas? Absolutely. But one of the areas that you can focus on, like for example, they brought in an In-N-Out, and everybody was concerned about it.
Nampa?
To the one in Nampa.
That one's not bad.
Exactly, and that's already a tough traffic pattern over there.
It is. You have a Costco right by there too,
exactly.
right? It's a tough area.
So that entire area is a really tough traffic pattern to begin with, and when they put that In-N-Out there, they decided everybody was worried about what type of traffic that was going to bring over there. But to In-N-Out's kudos, they do a really good job of staffing and planning with the city.
Managing the flow, man.
They put a good plan with the city to navigate that traffic problem ahead of time.
Yeah, no, two awesome things you said is, did you hear that In-N-Out wanted to be on 10 Mile, but the city declined it because...
I could see that. I could see that.
That it just was going to cause too much havoc because they were going to be in the same lot as Costco on Chinden and 10 Mile.
Yeah.
So that would have been just nuts, but... I wouldn't have minded. I live on 10 Mile.
I could still see it coming at a future date. Yeah. I mean, again,
there's also one in Boise. Do you know that?
Yeah, where the old furniture store was, right?
Yes,
in front of the Town Square Mall.
Yeah.
So I think In-N-Out does do a good job of working with the city.
I agree.
Of trying to figure out what are the best ways to make this happen. And yeah, there are times where the residents of that area are going to say, no, I don't want this around here. I don't want to have this traffic around here. So sometimes you get outvoted and it happens, but I could see them still pushing for a location on that side. Tell me your thoughts on Dunkin'. I don't know Dunkin' to save my life. I don't know anything about Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah. I'm a big donut guy. I love donuts. There's not a lot of local donut shops around here. Before we go into your thought on Dunkin', tell me your couple of local shops around here. What are your favorite ones?
So some of my local shops for like donuts and coffee, there's this place on State Street that I'm just blanking on. DK Donuts, I think. DK is one of my favorite spots for just really, really good donuts. They have like this blueberry flavored frosting donut, strawberry flavored frosting donuts, and the coffee's not bad, but I go there for donuts mainly. And then Pastry Perfection.
Oh yeah,
if you're looking for a solid locally owned donut shop, that's a great spot. And then obviously what's this place up by where Denny's is? I'm blanking on it right now.
I don't know.
Anyways, but
my spot's Country Donuts, bro. Country Donuts on Overland in Boise.
Shout out Country Donuts.
Ooh-wee.
I haven't had that, but I'm gonna have to try it. But
so tell me about Dunkin'.
Kind of to answer your question, I've only had Dunkin' at airports. So like they're a big airport brand around all their areas that I've gone to. Like I think at LAX they have one, but not bad. Coffee's all right. Like it's just like another big national chain that's coming in here.
And what does the release say? The release says they're putting like a bunch of locations.
They're trying to find a few locations, 100%. And so we'll see what happens. I'm curious to see like how many people that watch this are like, I love Dunkin'. So please tell us in the comments, like, are you excited for Dunkin' to be here? And then another thing too, one thing you said that was interesting is a local Idahoan, you literally traveled to Utah
Absolutely.
to sometimes get In-N-Out. I feel like people can relate to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I certainly can't, but I feel like people did that just for In-N-Out. So shout out to you. There's also one going in Twin, but anyways, moving on though.
You want to talk about playoffs next?
No, I wanted to talk about one more thing. Since obviously the area is growing so much, have you heard of Aloe? It's a sportswear brand like gym.
No, I haven't. It's like a Lululemon.
Yeah. It is. It's in that same realm, and they're actually looking to maybe open a location on Eagle Road. I think in like the Village. Because did you see that the Village is creating more buildings for stores?
Yeah.
So I think it might be there. I don't know if that's true or not. Don't quote me there, but it's just crazy how Eagle Road is just like quadrupling each day.
Yeah.
I feel like, just with all the new stuff. But
yeah, they want to be in a race probably to make sure that they still are competitive with the 10-mile location.
Yeah, 10 mile, man.
Because think back. Now that
let's go back.
We've been here for a while. Think back to the Boise Edwards Cinema. There was a huge grand opening. There was a lot of hype around it. We had some good restaurants around there in that area. And over the last 10 to 15 years,
they lost all the hype.
Yeah, the Village took away all that thunder. Yeah. And now there's a lot better places to maybe go catch a movie and dinner than the Boise Edwards.
Yeah, I agree.
And so the Village has done a great job of putting that together. I think 10 Mile is coming, and that's going to be like maybe the Nampa, Canyon County, Meridian side versus a little more like Eagle, Boise, Meridian side. I mean, 10 Mile and Eagle are still both considered Meridian, technically. Yeah. They're both in Meridian, the complete opposite sides of Meridian. Now, I mean, there's a good 20 to 25 minute drive probably between the Shields on 10 Mile to the Village on Eagle. Yeah. I would say it's probably 20-minute drive.
Yeah, I literally did that yesterday. We went to North Italia, a restaurant in the Village, and on a Friday night, from where I live on 10 Mile to there, it was about 20 minutes. So, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but the Village, they don't want to fall behind. They want to keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah, they're building away.
But yeah, that entire area, all the way up and down Eagle, you get off the 84 and go down Eagle, it's nonstop restaurants, nonstop new stuff coming in.
Yeah.
Also probably the worst traffic because of that. Eagle probably provides the worst traffic during 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock traffic.
I know you know a little bit about that, but we're excited for the future, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. To wrap it up, I think it's positive. I think it's an absolute positive for our area. It might bring a little bit more traffic to certain spots, but as we continue to grow, we want to have more options, and it's good for our economy. I think it's good. I think it's good all the way around.
Let me ask you 2 questions, because the last 2 videos that we posted did really well, right? And a lot of comments had the similar sentiment, like, the traffic that it's caused, I hate it. I hate to travel anywhere now.
Yep.
And then another question to ask you is, it's not Little Boise anymore, and the growth has ruined like the traditional values that were in the past. So what do you think about those 2 common things that people keep commenting on these videos?
Yeah, so I agree and disagree.
All right, tell me why. Tell me why.
I've been here for 30 years. You know that. I've been here my entire life, so I have seen the growth, absolutely. Is there worse traffic? Yes, absolutely. But anybody who's coming from LA, Portland, Seattle, even Salt Lake, any of these other metropolitan areas, and then we complain about traffic? Come on.
Should we say to suck it up and just embrace the growth, or should we say like what should we respond to all the comments?
My question would be: do you want to live in a place that's growing, or you want to live in a place that's dying?
That is well said.
And my vote every single time is I want to live in a place that's growing.
100%.
I want to live in a place that's thriving, that is bringing in new businesses, where new businesses can support the economy, people can get jobs. So to me, I always want to vote for growth.
Yeah.
Now, there's a right way and a wrong way to handle growth sometimes, absolutely. Right. And sometimes you can grow at too fast of a pace, and it makes it complicated for the infrastructure of a certain area. Yeah. But growth is always going to be good for our economy.
Yeah, and then to put a final ribbon on this is, I agree with you. As an entrepreneur, I really do embrace the growth, and I really try to adapt to the new environment that it's brought. It's brought a lot of ways for a lot of people to blow up. And so if you're entrepreneurial minded, this is a great time to create a business, blow up. And there's a lot of opportunities out there for people.
And the values are still here. I mean, we still have the same Idaho values that we've always had.
And it doesn't look like it would change anytime soon.
Exactly. And if you still want that country life, there's still plenty of areas.
Keep moving out further.
It's not just that. Like, I'm not just trying to force people to go out, but there's so many beautiful places, man. If you drive the Marsing wine country, it's beautiful. I mean, so some of these places, they're a little further out. The Marsings, the Home Knows the Wild, there's all these places. But if you want a little bit more Idaho rural country, there's still plenty of space out that way. There's still plenty of space towards Middleton out that way. There's still plenty of space outside of Kuna that way. Like, there's still plenty of spaces. Now, if you want to live in the metropolitan, Boise, Meridian, Eagle, maybe even Nampa nowadays,
you're going to have to get used to it.
Yeah, you get used to it, but it also brings that growth. It brings opportunities for you to start your own business, for you to be able to gain employment. So I'm not mad at it.
Keyword opportunity. I think there's opportunity for whoever wants to seek it.
Yep.
So anyways, let's wrap up to our final topic of the day and just the fun topic.
Bang, bang, let's go.
Yeah, this guy's stoked. Okay, so let's start there. What are your predictions for Seattle and Niners? Be honest with yourself.
If I'm honest with myself, Seattle should absolutely win this game.
Okay.
They would have no excuse. I think they're trying to make excuses already by
Sam Darnold oblique?
leaking the Sam Darnold oblique.
That was weird.
They're trying to throw out. They've had 2 weeks off, and all of a sudden Sam Darnold's injured. Come on, stop making excuses now. It is, I think, an NFL rule that you have to
report anything.
You have to report injuries. So people are making it out to be a little bit more than it is. I do think Sam Darnold is probably the weak link on that team.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I love Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold was a great backup for us before we.
I forgot. Then he went to. Where did he go after
I don't remember where he made a stop.
Minnesota.
Yeah, he made a pit stop in Minnesota, and he had a great season in Minnesota.
14-2.
Yeah, and now he's got the Seahawks at 14-3, whatever they're at,
or 14-3.
Yeah,
something like that.
So this is the NFL. They're professionals. They're big boys coming to play for you. So if you're not a halfway decent quarterback, you're not winning this many games. So people give Sam Darnold too much. I think but also he's earned a little bit of it.
Well, in the big games, he does turn into a turnover machine.
So that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for a couple of turnovers from my boy Sam Darnold, and then maybe my boy Brock Purdy has a big game. So should the Seahawks lose this game? Absolutely not. They have no excuse to lose this game to the crippled, handicapped, hospital-ridden 49ers. But my boys got a chance today.
Okay.
I think we got a chance.
Give me your score prediction.
20-17 Niners.
Okay. I'm also going to ride with the Niners, but for completely different reasons. Actually, no. For a logical reason, I think that the last game, like 2 weeks ago, there was chances for the Niners to actually compete. They just didn't make the plays. I think today they make the plays when the money's on the line, and I think Sam Darnold will make some mistakes.
You just like the matchup of the Rams versus the Niners a little bit better than the Rams versus the Seahawks.
I do. So that's part of the reason. My logical reason is I think the Niners will come out to play and put up a better fight. So I think they'll squeak it out 23-20. And then the other part of me is I would rather play you guys in the NFC Championship because you guys are all banged up.
But the Rams are looking good. What do you think? Okay, tell me about your Rams prediction for tomorrow. Rams versus Bears.
Yeah, so everybody keeps saying, the weather, that it's the worst, the coldest game that it's going to be in the last X amount of years, that the Rams haven't beat the Bears in their own field since 2003, and they're just saying that we're going to suck tomorrow. And they're also saying that Matthew Stafford, believe it or not, is 1-9 in cold games, and so or 1-8. So the odds are against us, but we're still favorites according to Vegas. And Vegas sometimes knows more than the average person. So I think we'll squeak it out. But I've been predicting to my friends all week, we're going to be down at half. And it's going to look like we're getting our asses whooped. But I think we're going to squeak it out, and we'll go to the NFC Championship.
High-scoring game?
Yeah.
30s?
Both defenses aren't looking too hot right now, but I have more faith in our pass rush than what they have on their end. So I think we're going to get a game-winning sack on Caleb or something crazy.
Is Stafford going to win the MVP?
Yes, 100%. I think it's already locked up in the...
No question?
No questions asked.
He better come to play then.
He will.
He better come to play.
But I think we got it, and we'll see the Niners in the NFC Championship.
Caleb Williams is no joke, though. Caleb Williams is a beast out there, man.
I know. He's the comeback kid. The cardiac Bears are real this year.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
I'm really worried about that.
I'll see you next week then.
I'll see you next week. So let's go to the AFC now. Broncos, Bills.
Oh, man.
What you got?
It's really hard to bet against Josh Allen.
Yeah, I know.
I think it's his time to maybe even win it all. But I got to ride with the Broncos on this one. I think Bo Nix is going to have a good game.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for the Broncos. I got a buddy who's rooting for the Broncos, so I got to be on his side. He showed my Niners love all season. I got to show him his Broncos a little bit of love. So I'm going to ride with the Broncos on this one.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Broncos are a better team overall, and it's just Josh Allen that I'm worried about. Like you said, he balled out last week against the Jags. They were a better team. The Bills are not as good, and they still squeaked it out. I think it'll be a close game.
Who's on the other side?
Patriots, Texans. I got Patriots.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Texans.
Yep.
CJ Stroud he has flashes of brilliance, and then he'll play like Sam Darnold and make some really boneheaded plays.
Yep, and I think Drake May's the real deal on the other side too.
Drake's insane.
Imagine the storyline if Drake May can take this team to the Super Bowl. This is like the
I don't even want to hear that.
Back in the day, storylines of young Tom Brady leading them. Drake May is having a hell of a season, and the storyline of him making the Super Bowl would be incredible for the NFL. I don't think he'll get there.
Yeah.
I think I'm still picking maybe the Broncos to come out of the AFC.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I think Broncos Patriots next weekend.
Yeah, Broncos Patriots, and then we'll see after that. We'll have to give our predictions next week.
Rams Niners. Come on, baby. Let's go.
We're hoping for it, but I think that wraps up the episode unless you have anything else.
No, man. What I want to say to everyone out there is just when you're getting ready to buy a home, just
looking at the camera right now?
Just make a plan.
Make a plan.
Reach out to us. Reach out to your team. It doesn't have to be us. It doesn't have to be. You reach out to a professional in the industry who knows the market, who can help guide you and put a plan in place. Because I believe in the value of home ownership 100%.
Yeah.
I think everybody, one, deserves to be able to own a home,
100%.
and two, I believe in the wealth building opportunities that you get when you own your own home.
Yes.
So I do think it's important for people to get out of the rental cycle, and you need to reach out to a professional in your area, put a plan in place, whether it's 6 months from now, 12 months from now, 2 years from now. Put a plan in place, because home prices are not going to crash in our area anytime soon. Rates are going to be in the high 5s, low 6s for the foreseeable future. So stop waiting on the sideline. Get out there, talk to a professional, put yourself in position.
And then to piggy off that, if you're paying rent around $1,800 to like $2,400, hit us up. Like,
yeah,
you are prime position, and we don't know all the details, but like if you're paying rent around that price range, please call us. Like let's get you in a home.
Yeah, stop paying someone else's mortgage. Pay your own mortgage.
And you know what, you say that right, is I've heard of people that are paying that amount in rent for houses, and I'm like, that's insane. That's a mortgage, around the 2,000. Like, come on.
Yep.
Like let's get out of that, guys. But yeah, that wraps it up. Thank you for listening, everybody.
All right, I'll see you next week.
Peace out, bro.